In this edition of Latitudes, we'll be skipping through the sun-drenched desert of Dubai on a throbbing Harley-Davidson, and then spending some quiet time with the residents of a local eco-resort while the Harley cools down in the shade. We'll also be trying our luck with the fish in the Pacific tropical paradise that is the south coast of Samoa. But in the meantime, sit back, put your feet up, and let us take you on a lighter-than-air trip to a balloon festival in eastern Germany. One of the world's major tourism festivals draws increasingly larger crowds every year. The sport of hot air ballooning is drawing an ever larger following with each event. One of Europe's biggest and best-known hot air balloon festivals is held here every year in Liesnig, near Leipzig in Germany. While the balloons are readied, the crowds are entertained by parachuting and skydiving displays, which always raise gasps of awe and then nervous laughter on the landings. This three-day event saw 96 participants from Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium, Britain, Switzerland and nearby Poland. The process of preparing the balloons is time-consuming, but participant and sightseer safety is of the utmost concern. The initial setup of the balloons is watched by everyone. The balloons are initially filled with cold air from portable fans. This partially fills the envelope until the propane burners can be ignited, heating the air inside. Once the balloon begins rising, the spectacle of the event starts to reveal itself. The weather in Liesnig at this time of year makes for perfect conditions for the event. Not only does the event have its competitive side, but rides are also available for those who wish to give it a try. While the balloons make for fairly impractical transport as your direction is largely governed by the wind, the enjoyment of the experience of the flight has no comparison. Many people describe flying in a hot air balloon as one of the most serene, enjoyable activities they've ever experienced. Traditionally, most hot air balloons use a wicker basket for the passenger compartment. Wicker works very well because it's sturdy and flexible. However, the balloon envelopes themselves are becoming more colourful and artistic each year. Pilots control the craft with occasional bursts from their burners to raise or lower the altitude of the balloon's drift. Using the prevailing wind directions gives the pilot some degree of control. As the day draws to an end, the highlight of the festival draws nearer. The traditional night glow balloon glowing, where pilots turn on the burners in intervals and create a blinking lights effect in the night sky. The night glow features dozens of inflated balloons on the ground, lighting their canopies with their burners to the sound of music. The sight of so many huge balloon envelopes glowing in the darkness is truly an exceptional sight. Hundreds of spectators attend these international ballooning events. The airship made famous by the Zeppelin company, once a symbol of German power and grace, is back in the skies above Berlin. A brand new, completely redesigned dirigible is offering people the chance to float above the German capital for the first time in 65 years. The last pre-war Zeppelin flights over Berlin came amid a blaze of national pride and celebration, including at the 1936 Olympics. 1 year later, the Zeppelin's era came to a fiery close when the 245-yard-long Hindenburg burst into flames while docking at Lakehurst, New Jersey. It has taken the airship industry decades to live down that terrible day. In recent years, the descendant of the Zeppelin company has developed a new, smaller airship, this time using helium rather than the flammable hydrogen of pre-war Zeppelins. The Deutsche Zeppelin Reederei Company started taking tourists for hour-long summer rides over Lake Constance at €335 a pop. The limited run of Berlin flights starts at Tempelhof Airport, itself a masterwork of Third Reich architecture, dating back to the old Zeppelin's heyday. Only 12 passengers fit in the new Zeppelin, a fraction of the number that could ride the original with its sleeping compartments and elegant dining room. Surprisingly, many of today's passengers are old enough to remember the glamour of the old Zeppelin and are fulfilling long-held dreams to ride in the once glamorous concept aircraft of the skies. As one passenger from the previous flight gets off, another boards, a choreography which assures stable weight in the 10-metre-long cabin underneath the 75-metre-long aircraft. The ascent is smooth and natural, and the view very quickly reveals Berlin's unique patchwork of old and post-war construction, contrasting east and west architectural styles, as well as ample greenery punctuating the sprawling city. Visible only to the trained eye are a few traces of the Berlin Wall, which divided the city until 1989. Other airships, such as advertising blimps, have flown over Berlin in recent years. Yet they did not carry paying tourists, and the more slender new Zeppelin cuts a distinctive, dashing figure on the capital's skyline that reminds one of the grandeur of the past. In the present day, costing €335 during the week and €370 at the weekend, the new Zeppelin's 45-minute Berlin tourist flights will soon come to an end when it returns to its base on Lake Constance. There, 4,500 passengers have flown with the ship since her inaugural flights. In the future, the company hopes to bring tourist Zeppelins to other European cities, such as Paris, London and Venice. Now we'll rejoin Steve Cooper, Australian fishing writer and noted sports fisherman, on the continuation of his Samoan adventure. With his trip across the mainland island of Upolu at Sinali Resort, Steve stopped at one of the many tourist platforms for a view of the pristine environment that is rapidly becoming the distinguishing characteristic of Samoa. The spectacular Sapuaga waterfall is over 180 feet high and is fed by the tropical runoff from the mountainous interior of Upolu.
Magnificent.
They're a little bit hard to get down over the side of here.
Of course. Yeah. Some good trekking.
Sinale Resort is only a 30-minute drive over the mountain range from Apia, Samoa's capital. The route is well serviced by buses, taxis and the Sinale shuttle. The reef resort is situated on the south coast of Samoa's main island of Upolu. This coastline is world famous for its picture postcard scenery. Clear turquoise waters with shady coconut palms fringing stretches of white sand. Sinale is set in 33 acres of landscaped grounds. Opened in February 1996, the Sinale Reef Resort reflects Fa'a, Samoa, the spirit of Samoa, a haven where guests can relax, find peace and inspiration. With 16 individual whales, 4 ocean view and 5 beachside whales, and with each whale and suite having its own private deck in tropical surrounds, there will always be a feeling of seclusion and peace at the resort. Not surprisingly, Steve chose to take up the sport fishing option with the on-site dive and fishing charter operators. Tim took the boat on a brief run along the inshore fringing reefs while Steve set lures and tackle for the upcoming expedition. The brief run to the picture-perfect Nusufe Island, the island of the octopus, provided immediate action with quick hookups in the schools of large barracuda in the area. These fish, made infamous villains in the animated movie Nemo, prowl the drop-off areas looking for easy pickings. Following the bird activity, Steve hooks solidly into his unknown assailant and the battle is joined. The powerful fish takes some line, but the heavy tackle soon tires the fish and allows it to be brought to the boat. Using heavy tackle allows for the angler to tire the fish, but not totally exhaust him.
Could be a wahoo, could be a mackerel. Don't know what it is. Geez, a good fish. Whoa! I'm not sure what it is. Could be a barracuda, could be a wahoo, could be a mackerel.
Gently placing the gaff under the jaw and lifting it into the boat, Tim says this is only an average fish for the area.
So that seems to be about an average sized barracuda there. Yeah. Let me actually get him up under the gill. Oh, nice! Nice fish. He's hooked up pretty good. Yeah. We've got a nice barracuda on here. He's taken.
While keeping his fingers away from the formidable fangs of the barracuda, Steve quickly extracts the minnow lure, and after a brief inspection of his catch, the fish is released back to his waiting brethren.
The hooks are well and truly in. We've just got to watch all these teeth. It's got a mouth full of teeth, these things. Hook out of his gills there. We've just got to be very.
With a fast catch and release, the fish is much more likely to survive to be caught another day.
20 pound, he's probably a lot nearer 30 or 15 kilos. Back in the water. Yeah.
A number of fish landed on the deck of Tim's boat throughout the day, and by the end, Steve was looking forward to heading back to the luxury of Sinale. But true to form, Steve was at it again from the Sinale Pier when he saw movement in the water at dusk.
Pardon?
As it turns out, there is a large freshwater vent boiling up in the centre of the reef. Here, rainwater seeps out of the cracks in the reef, and the mixing of the fresh and salt water creates swirling blurs of motion throughout the immediate area. This in turn attracts many small and juvenile fish, and even the occasional avid fisherman. Motorcycle enthusiasts rejoice. The Gulf Emirate of Dubai, an international tourist destination renowned for balmy beaches and luxury hotels, has set out to lure motorbike fans by hosting the Middle East's annual Harley-Davidson rally. More than 230 Harley lovers from the Gulf, Europe and beyond roared down the highways of Dubai during the rally, which was held for the first time in this Gulf city. Escorted by police, the bikers rode down the busy skyscraper-lined Sheikh Zayed highway and into the desert that rings the region's trade and tourism hub. The Harley-Davidson is fast becoming a status symbol of the up-and-comers in the region, and with Dubai's outstanding weather, it's surprising that the Harley fashion hasn't taken off sooner. Long straight roads and much less traffic than some European destinations made this an event to remember. After a day of hard riding, the Harley owners cavorted in a luxury beachfront resort, swapping stories and showing off their bikes. Most of the participants at the Harley Owners Group, or HOG event, were well-heeled businessmen or executives whose idea of fun is to zoom down highways with the wind in their hair. The rally coordinator and IT executive said such HOG events helped attract a different kind of tourism to Dubai, as well as establish it as a prime riding destination. Because the seasons are the opposite of Europe, so there is a huge inducement to come out of Europe and ride in the magnificent sunshine of Dubai. And also coinciding your visit with the world-renowned Dubai Shopping Festival makes the visit even more enticing. Harley owners and their friends, mostly decked out in leather waistcoats studded with Harley memorabilia, stopped to admire the bikes on display, particularly the customised Harleys with their distinctive artwork. Judges milled about the bikes, giving points to owners who have made particularly stunning upgrades to their Harleys. Some Harley owners came from as far away as the Netherlands to participate in the rally, while other owners use HOG rallies to showcase bikes that have been transformed into luxurious cruisers, complete with picnic gear and bottle holders. Others, like the owner of the Dubai Superbike Harley workshop, take part in the rallies for the sheer thrill of riding the king of motorbikes all over the world.
It's cute.
Some owners get their first taste of Harleys as college students in the United States. Now, with the money to afford their passion, they ride in many HOG events and hold many hopes that Dubai will succeed in its mission to become a Harley haven. Some riders have been around the world to attend some of these bike activities. Most say that Dubai has a lot better weather and better roads than many of their other destinations. If you're looking for some quieter accommodation while you're in Dubai, nestled amid the sand dunes of the United Arab Emirates lies one of the world's most luxurious resorts. But this one practices tourism with a conscience. Dubai's Al Maha Resort is classified as one of the leading small hotels in the world, but its real claim to fame is that it is the only desert conservation sanctuary in this arid Gulf region. Although the vast and barren desert might conjure images of hardship, life is very comfortable at Al Maha. The resort is designed to reflect a Bedouin camp, albeit a very plush one. Al Maha caters to a maximum of 66 visitors, and each of the 30 chalets has its own plunge pool and private garden. Binoculars, an easel and oils add a luxurious touch. Furnishings are a blend between modern comfort and authentic Arab antiques. Four-poster beds and overstuffed chaise lounges jostle for space with brass-studded chests beneath a canvas canopy that looks like a tent. Established in March 2000, Al Maha is set within a 25 square kilometre reserve that is home to more than 40 species of flora and fauna, including the oryx that is now extinct in the wild. Now foxes' holes and rodent homes riddled the sands while different species of gazelles laze amid the dunes under the winter sun. The oryx, which was released in the desert in 1999, breeds in the reserve, and their numbers have increased so much that Al Mahar has established feeding stations for them. Al Mahar is probably one of the first and foremost resorts to use every single conceivable environmentally friendly system that is available. From the 100% water recycling to the use of solar energy and the totally biodegradable chemicals the resort uses. Al Mahar is successfully limiting its impact on the habitat and is a model for design and design technique. From both the guest's point of view and the business point of view, the one thing that makes it special is that the guests visiting here support the resort and their contributions go into conservation of the local habitat. The reserve has reintroduced some species of plants that were destroyed by camels that were farmed in the area. They include the Acacia nilotica or scented thornbush and the so-called firebush that has natural built-in pyrotechnics. Other species that roam free in Al Mahar include the shy sandy brown Dorcas gazelle and the skittish reem gazelle. The resort's perimeter is maintained by a low-voltage fence, which surrounds the reserve to prevent camels and animals that are not indigenous to the area from straying in and the protected species from wandering out, ensuring that Al Mahar's guests can enjoy a natural habitat while lolling in their own luxurious environment. Join Latitudes again when we next trek the globe and explore fabulous and exciting vacation ideas. For further information regarding any story on this episode, log on to www.pbtv.com.au. This program is proudly supported by PATA and Always Dive Australia.